Live from some basement, it's the Gamin News Show with your host, Mr. GC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Something Something Gaming News Show. Now, I haven't done this show in quite some time, but welcome to the show about the news of all things gaming. That's right, presented to you, for you, by yours truly, scholars, Mr. Gaming Counselor. That's right. I want to try to get back into doing this show because sometimes there's a lot of news that happens that we can't really address in an individual video. So we put them all together for you to sit back and enjoy yourself. So let's jump in with our first story of the day. That's right. Nexon has admitted that the First Descendant isn't going to pay the bills with the big booty girls. That's right. Unfortunately, titties are not enough to make the bank. You would think you could with OnlyFans, but apparently that doesn't translate into video games. That's right. Apparently things weren't, it has no staying power is what Nexon says. Great at launch, no staying power, which I would admit at launch it was pretty fun. Many people tout that there's many reasons why First Descendant has been popular, mostly because it's the same content over and over and over again. And of course, FOMO, which is something that Destiny itself has dealt with over on Bungie. FOMO, people don't want to deal with that. All right, next, Nintendo taking that fat L. That's right. If you don't remember, Power World was criticized for being similar to Pokemon, but with guns. And Nintendo took them to court alleging that they broke multiple patents of Nintendo. Well, the courts have now ruled that one of Nintendo's main patents is no longer valid. That's right. The U.S. Patent Office has revoked Nintendo's 2025 patent on summoning characters to battle on behalf of the players, either automatically or manually. This is the same patent cited in the current legal court proceedings of Power World. Now, this is a really big deal because it's very restrictive to say that Nintendo has the right to summon characters. That's such a broad brush, and it's good that the US Patent Office said, no, Nintendo, you can't have that. Moving on up, Baldur's Gate 3 was a massive success. However, just because a game is successful doesn't mean it's not full of retarded developers. And so is Larian's publishing boss as he takes swipes at Crimson Desert for calling it a cynical amalgamation of borrowed mechanics, which he just, what video game doesn't have a combination of other mechanics? I think we are so past the line. Like, innovation is so rare that it's more of perfecting what's already there, taking what's there and improving upon it or adding a new spin on it. In this regard, it's just taking mechanics from other games. That's what Crimson Desert does. It doesn't do anything exceptionally over the top well. It just provides a fun, cool experience, which is, good for gamers. But it's really funny to see, a successful publisher and their boss decide to call out and, attack a game that's doing well. It's really weird. Talking about really weird, and on the topic of Crimson Desert, not even the voice actor for the main character understood what the story was. Listen, I don't know who's playing for the story because I've given up on Crimson Desert story. I treat it like Skyrim, which I'm going to be honest, I never cared about the story of Skyrim either. It was just a bunch of old dudes telling you can shout and you got to go beat up dragons. What more could you want? And so that's pretty much what I did. That, and I ran off being a thief. Like every playthrough, I always run off and play as a thief. It always happens. I just always go to the Thief Guild and I start out being a thief and then I go on some random adventure. If that's not what you want in a video game, I don't know what is, but Crimson Desert does it too. Now, when we're on the topic of Crimson Desert, we're continuing the chain. Travis, that's right, Travis from IGN gave a scathing 6 out of 10 review, which he has been absolutely desecrated about. People have been calling him out for this bad behavior, and now he is saying my final review of Crimson Desert is now live. After finally reaching credits, my thoughts from my in-progress review remain largely the same, but then he changed his opinion after the updates. That's right, he's changed his opinion that he would give his score another go. That's right, after having pressure from players, he's folding and wanting to change it. Now, I do think there's a conversation to have. Like, obviously, their review copy had a lot of issues that we did not see. There's a lot of bosses that were nerfed, and even after all the updates, Crimson Desert is a lot more playable than what people had to experience. With that being said, I can see giving it a low score. I don't know if I agree with a 6 out of 10, but apparently even Travis agrees that it's not a 6 out of 10 because he wants to change his score. Talking about scores, Marathon is being held up by game journalists. I don't know what's going on, but like IGN and like all these, well, I'm trying to think of what the other, was it Eurogamer? Are spamming their review, not once, but they'll be spamming it back to back within the same day. And it's so weird because they change the headline of it every time. Like, they are getting so much special attention to Marathon. Like, it's such a weird psyop where they really want Marathon to succeed, and it doesn't make any sense. In fact, Marathon's gotten special treatment with them delaying reviews, which honestly I think is really unfair, because the whole point of a review is to give a review so you know when to purchase it. But this game's been out for like a month and we're just now still getting reviews on it, which makes no sense when you got games like Crimson Desert, which have hundreds of reviews, and it's been out a shorter amount of time than Marathon. I can't believe we have to talk about this, but as someone who works in schools, this is absurd that this is happening. And if you have a kid at home and you watch a show, this is for you to have a conversation with your kid, not to play these games, because schools are now blocking a viral new game called Five Nights at Epstein's that is spreading quickly among students in U.S. schools. The game is a dark parody of Five Nights at Freddy's. Players try to survive 5 nights on Jeffrey Epstein's island while avoiding attacks from Epstein and other figures. Guys, why? It's one thing to meme on things, but do we have to make games that kids play? Like, it's too far. It's too much. Epic Games came out that they were going to do layoffs, close down game modes, and we have an update after a former employee talked about being fired and having their insurance removed as they were going through actual medical treatment for their cancer. And of course, everyone posted this commentary from this individual so that Tim Sweeney actually responded, and this is what he had to say about it. Epic is in contact with the family and will solve the insurance for them. There is high confidentiality around medical information, and it was not a factor in this layoff's decision. Sorry to everyone for not recognizing this terribly painful situation and handling it in advance. Which is ironic, coming from the guy that talked about how all the people he was firing were skillful and that you shouldn't let these people go away, even though he was letting them go in the first place. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is just to wave off some bad publicity or if this was true empathy. But either way, I hope this individual this developer who's fighting cancer gets the financial support that they need so that, well, they can continue to live like the rest of us. Talking about Epic Games, one of the reasons why Epic Games is in the gutter and losing money is because they're suing Valve, and Gabe Newell just doesn't give a shit. That's right, Valve veteran slams Tim Sweeney and Epic Games for laying off 1,000 people while making as much money as possible. And hey, Tim, Gabe's better at it than you. This is from PC Gamer. But it's funny because Gabe just literally is being sued by Tim Sweeney, and he's losing. Like, Valve has just been catching W's without trying, and it's hilarious. People want Steam and Valve to fail, but it's just one of the most popular marketplaces, and it's pro gamer. I would love to see it, continue to be so, right? Screw these people trying to sue Valve. fuck off. Which goes into our same point, but one of the people that were suing Valve was New York Attorney General Letitia James, who was suing Valve, is being referred for criminal prosecution over alleged homeowners insurance fraud. Isn't it hilarious? Maybe you shouldn't point fingers at people because you'll have fingers pointed back at you. You should probably make smarter choices, but stupid people do what stupid people do. Now, some of this news is older from March, but it's something that I would like to talk about. In fact, there was some news going on Twitter about people talking about Titanfall and how if Titanfall came out in the current day and age, people would call it a slop shooter like Concord, which I think is just not true. Nothing says sexy like running around in a mech suit, wall climbing, jumping around in this futuristic badass suit. Like, I'm sorry. The people who are desperate to spin this narrative, whether it be Marathon or people who are upset by Highguard or other games that are coming out, this is just a narrative that people are trying to spin, saying, well, if this game came out, like people are doing it with Halo Reach, they're trying to use older games and say, well, if this game came out now, it would be considered X, Y, and Z, which is just not true. How do we know that? Because people are going back and playing older games instead of playing newer games. Duh. It's hilarious that people are this retarded that they like to use this excuse. Gamers want games to die. No, gamers want shit games to die. Your shit games. People want games like Titanfall to succeed. Hell, people have been begging for Titanfall 3 for years. So that already debunks whatever bullshit narrative you're trying to spin. It stinks, probably like you. Talking about stinky, we've got to talk about Nvidia. Oh, Nvidia CEO decided to say, and they're really trying to push AI, and it smells like shit. But the Nvidia CEO says, I'll hire an AI fluent college grad over one with no AI skills every single time. And this is what you can expect. There's been massive pushback on Nvidia. In fact, people were memeing on it when it came out. There was like, I'll put it on the screen. There's a bunch of memes. Like they showed a video that was just awful of Resident Evil 9. It's crazy to me that we have to have this conversation. Like the AI can be useful tools. I 100% believe that. However, there's a difference in using it in its niche moments versus you're hiring people specifically who use AI, which means you are making it more of a prominent part of the game development, which is not what it should be. It should not take the place of original creativity from actual developers. By the way, can we just say that the CEO looks like Asian Wesker? I think there's a red flag there. He looks like Asian Wesker. I'm just saying we should be concerned. Talking about Asian, a 9-year-old gamer has gone viral after beating Resident Evil Requiem without any guides. Yang Bingling tracked puzzles and maps by hand in a notebook while playing. This goes to show that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still game like a G without being a beta bitch and having to use strategy guides. You know what? Shout out to you. You give all gamers hope that you can be a gamer even at almost 100 years old. That's my life goal. Play games until I'm 100 years old, baby. Let's do it. In sad news, talking about things being old, D2 Foundry has shut down. That's right, D2 Foundry, and it looked like Braytech. These are Destiny apps for people who want to know. These were Destiny apps that were used for Destiny to help people manage items and equipment and all that stuff, be able to see, perks and all kinds of things. It was just a generally helpful websites for the game because a lot of the stuff isn't in the game, unfortunately. And they're shutting down. People can't afford it, and there's not enough people supporting them because there's not anyone really playing Destiny anymore, unfortunately. So we want to say goodbye to those websites that provide us with a lot of resources, a lot of joy from a game that used to provide us joy, but now is dying and bringing sadness. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Talking about sadness, It's not really a good segue because most people are happy. Another Bungie bro is terminated on Twitter. That's right, airbagged. The devil is gone. Another crazy nutcase. That's right. You can just tell by looking at this person that they are probably someone that belongs in the insane asylum. Thank God this trash can Bungie bro is gone. Rest in peace. Rest in piss. You won't be missed. But they have I didn't know how unhinged this person is, but this person is literally recording kids and talking about a black girl was windmilling and skanking in this mirror. What the fuck is wrong with you? Talking about children? Like, this person needs to be on some kind of watch. Like, you can't be recording other people's children and then talk about skanking around. What the fuck is wrong with you? But again, this is a window peek into the Bungie bros. This is the people in that community. This is the people that you've got to be careful with. These are people. They're everywhere. They're everywhere, and most of them need to be locked up. Talking about locking up, Wildlight, the former Wildlight Entertainment, which is now disbanded. The studio behind the failed Highguard live service is being accused of not honoring contracts and paying vendors for connected production companies via LinkedIn. That's right. It's weird that LinkedIn has become like the professional Twitter. We get more inside information from LinkedIn, but apparently the people have not been paid. Go figure. It's kind of crazy how this company said that they could do well with 100 players or 1,000, and then suddenly they just disappeared off the face of the earth and they can't even pay their bills. So it's really suspicious. It really is suspicious. They couldn't even pay their bills, but they were quick to say that they could have 1,000 players and be fine. Well, that seemed to be not talking about not the truth. Kotaku, why are they still around? Kotaku is literally the stupidest game journalist website I have ever seen. Kotaku claims that Bowser is bisexual. For context, this is it's a film for kids. Yeah, Bowser, I know what you are, bisexual. This is the turning all the frogs gay joke right here. This is why not everything needs to be gay or about gay or sexuality. Can we just have games and videos, especially for kids, that have nothing to do about sexual orientation and or sex in general? Can we just have everything platonic? What happened to platonic interactions, platonic relationships? Why does everything have to be gay or straight? Why does everything have to be sex based? Like, just make it entertaining for kids. This is especially video games. 9 out of 10 times, I don't want to see a fucking sex scene. I just want to play a fucking game. People love, I can think of The Witcher has some sex scenes people love. I've never played Witcher, so don't know. I know that they're in there. I know that God of War, because I played it, has sex scenes and people love that. And for those people, great. But I just don't think that they're integral to the story. Talking about not giving a fuck, Mass Effect TV show was ordered by Amazon to rewrite the script to make it more appealing to non-gamers. I wish I was joking, but this is the same shit that happened with Halo TV, where they want more people to watch it. You know, it's like a game for everyone is a game for no one. A game show, a game TV show is a game TV show for no one if you make it for everyone. And I hate the bastardization of things that there's a reason why it was popular. If you take what was popular and diminish it, it's no longer popular. Now, I think a good example of still keeping some basic roots of the story, like the Fallout TV series, took a lot of inspiration from Las Vegas, but it's obviously not a one-for-one. I think for most people, it was a success. Then compare it to the Halo TV show, where it's not a success. They took too many, chances and opportunities. They rewrote key parts. Like in Fallout, there is no key, character from the previous lore, whereas Master Chief in the TV series, pretty fucking obvious who he is, and trying to rewrite his character was an awful mistake. Now, Mass Effect, I've never really played it. It'll be interesting to see how the Mass Effect fans react to this news. But overall, I think it's always a bad decision to say, you know what, we're going to rewrite it so it's more non-gamer friendly, which defeats the purpose of making a game, TV show or a game movie. Like, if you're not gonna respect the material, then why fucking use it? Just make something original. That's my thought. All right, well, that's the news for this week. I'll try to save up more news for next week so that you guys can enjoy with me as we check on gaming news around the world. As I'll see you guys in the next something gaming news show. I'm your host, Mr. Gaming Counselor, and as always, don't forget to game out. Huzzah!